Welcome to G Fun Facts Online. Every 4 years, the entire planet seems to pause for one event, the FIFA World Cup. It's more than just a month-long festival of football. It's a global spectacle of national pride, incredible skill, and unforgettable moments. But behind the roar of the crowd and the thrill of the game, there's another competition playing out, one measured not in goals, but in billions of dollars. This is the story of the World Cup's fascinating and often controversial economy. For the governing body, FIFA, it's a guaranteed jackpot. But for the country that hosts it, it's one of the biggest financial gambles a nation can take. Let's start with the host country's ante, a truly multi-billion-dollar bet. The journey to hosting begins with a monumental financial commitment. The costs fall into two main buckets: infrastructure and operations. The first, infrastructure, is the big one. This means building brand new, state-of-the-art stadiums and renovating old ones to meet FIFA's incredibly strict standards. But it doesn't stop at the pitch. Host nations pour billions into new airports, highways, public transport like metros and railways, and a massive expansion of hotels. Then you have the operational costs. Everything from event management and security to marketing and creating fan zones. The price tag for all this has absolutely skyrocketed over the years. The 1994 World Cup in the USA cost about $500 million. Fast forward to 2014, and Brazil's tournament cost around $15 billion. Russia's 2018 event was in a similar ballpark at $14.2 billion. But then came Qatar in 2022, which set a new, almost unbelievable benchmark. The estimated cost? A staggering $220 billion. To be fair, a huge chunk of that was part of Qatar's bigger national development plan, which included a new metro system and an airport. Still, the cost for just the stadiums, building 7 new ones and renovating another, was estimated to be between $6.5 and $10 billion. So while host nations are taking on these immense financial risks, FIFA is reaping all the rewards. The organization's business model is a commercial triumph designed to maximize income. For the 2019 to 2022 cycle, which ended with the Qatar World Cup, FIFA's revenue hit a record $7.6 billion. So where does all that money come from? The single largest source is television broadcasting rights. Broadcasters worldwide pay enormous sums for the exclusive rights to show the matches, reaching a global audience that exceeded 5 billion viewers for the Qatar tournament. This alone accounted for over $3.4 billion. Next up are marketing and sponsorship rights. Global brands like Coca-Cola, Visa, and Adidas pay hundreds of millions to be official FIFA partners, generating nearly $1.8 billion for that same cycle. Then there's ticket sales and hospitality. For the Qatar World Cup, this hit a new high of $949 million. And here's a crucial detail. All revenue from ticket sales is controlled by a FIFA subsidiary. It does not go to the host country's government. Add in licensing rights for merchandise and video games, and you can see how FIFA has built itself a guaranteed financial windfall. But what about the host country? Is their massive bet worth it? The return on investment is a much more complicated and debatable equation. On one hand, there are potential upsides. The most immediate is a tourism boom. Hundreds of thousands of international fans fly in, spending money on hotels, food, and attractions. Qatar, for example, welcomed over 1.4 million visitors. Hosting also creates a surge in short-term jobs, especially in construction and hospitality. South Africa's 2010 World Cup created an estimated 159,000 new jobs. And there's the infrastructure legacy. The new roads, airports, and transport systems can benefit citizens long after the final whistle, not to mention the global spotlight, which can boost a country's reputation and attract future investment. However, there are also harsh realities. The biggest risk is the white elephant problem: building massive, expensive stadiums that have little to no use after the tournament. Countries like South Africa and Brazil have been left with huge venues in cities that don't have a major team to fill them, yet they are still incredibly costly to maintain. Then there's the massive public debt. The billions spent on the World Cup are often public funds that could have gone to healthcare, education, or other critical services. This led to huge public protests in Brazil, where citizens questioned the spending amid widespread social inequality. Many economists now argue that the long-term economic benefits are often vastly overstated. A city might see a temporary bump, but it's often followed by a downturn and the ongoing burden of paying for everything. The economic legacy really varies. The 1994 USA World Cup is widely seen as a financial success because it used existing stadiums, minimizing costs, and reportedly generating a profit. It also sparked the creation of Major League Soccer. South Africa in 2010 was a moment of immense national pride, but it left behind those expensive, underused stadiums. Brazil in 2014 was plagued by social unrest over the spending, and its long-term economic benefits are still debated. Qatar 2022, the most expensive ever, will be judged on whether its massive infrastructure investment can truly help diversify its economy in the long run. This brings us to the future and a new game plan. The upcoming 2026 World Cup, co-hosted by the United States, Canada, and Mexico, represents a major shift. By spreading the event across 3 nations and using a large number of existing stadiums, the financial burden on any single country is dramatically reduced. This model avoids the main pitfall of the past, building costly new venues that risk becoming white elephants. Projections are incredibly optimistic, with one study forecasting over $5 billion in short-term economic activity. In conclusion, the World Cup economy is a dazzling, high-stakes spectacle. It's a guaranteed financial powerhouse for FIFA, whose business model insulates it from the enormous costs. For host nations, it's a monumental gamble. The promise of tourism, global recognition, and new infrastructure is alluring, but the risk of debt and useless facilities is very real. The move towards multi-country hosting may well be the blueprint for a more sustainable future, ensuring the beautiful game doesn't leave a legacy of beautiful, empty, and expensive stadiums.